I love medical microneedling for all that it does for your skin. Today we're going to talk about cosmetic needling and why it probably should be in your monthly routine. My goodness, it's amazing. I'm going to tell you what cosmetic microneedling is, why it's different from medical microneedling, what benefits it has for your skin, and then I'm going to tell you how you can fit it all into your monthly routine. Guys, I'm going to be 50 this year. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I'm gonna be 50. I thought I would need a facelift at 50. So let's get into this video. What is cosmetic needling? Well, cosmetic needling is needling at depths of about 0.25 millimeters. You can go lower than that. 2.3 millimeters. You're staying at that upper level, the outer layer of dead skin called the stratum corneum. It's just getting below that stratum corneum, just into the epidermis of your skin, that upper top layer of your skin. You're not going down into the dermis like when you're medically needling at like 0.5 and above. You won't need numbing cream. You won't have any bleeding. The downtime is so minimal. I mean, we're talking like just a few hours of redness and then you're good. Definitely 24 hours with no actives. What I like about cosmetic needling is it has this kind of wake up and repair system that I think really packs a huge punch for what it is. So let's talk about what the differences are, because there are differences between medical needling and cosmetic needling. We know that medical needling is like larger depths. So we're talking 0.5 millimeters and above. Those sessions you can only do them every 4 to 6 weeks, right? They have some downtime. It takes a few days to heal from those. Medical needling is amazing for acne scars, deep wrinkles, serious skin sagging, you know, that laxity issue. Cosmetic needling, on the other hand, is a little more gentle. You can pretty much do it 1 to 2 times a week. There is very little downtime at all. And it's really focused on your barrier health and getting actives deeper into the skin. So I like to look at it like this. Medical microneedling is kind of like when you're trying to renovate your kitchen and you're gonna change out your countertops, right? You're rebuilding the whole thing, right? Whereas cosmetic needling is kind of like giving your cabinets a fresh coat of paint, right? It looks beautiful on the surface. It does a lot to help you glow. It improves tone and texture. Minimal fine lines and things like that are swept away. I hope that made sense. Let's talk about, in plain English, how the science works. Think of your stratum corneum as like a brick wall, and the dead cells on your brick wall are glued together. They're really great for keeping all the junk that goes on your skin out. He also keeps out a shocking amount of the products that you buy. Unless those molecules are super small, they're not getting in. So a lot of our products that we buy do just sit on the surface of our skin. It is very true. And we would like those products to penetrate deeper, of course, to get below that stratum corneum into the actual epidermis. But to do that, we need to create channels in the skin in order for them to get in there. When we're cosmetic needling at 0.25 to 0.3 millimeters, it kind of creates these little micro channels in our skin that allows the products to get inside and actually do some work on our actual epidermis. When studies have looked at cosmetic needling, it's seen that it can boost permeability, that means getting into your skin, by 1,000 times for water-loving molecules. That's 1,000 times more than if you were to just sit it on the surface of your skin. So when we're cosmetic needling, we're creating these tiny micro channels in our skin. It allows us to absorb those for up to 200 to 300% more than we would if they were sitting on the surface of our skin. That means that instead of just sitting there, you're actually allowing them to get in and do the work that you want them to be doing, the reason you're putting them on in the first place. That's huge in and of itself. Some of those serums do get in. Some of them create changes through signaling to the epidermis and can actually create changes that way. When you're cosmetic needling, they're actually penetrating that and getting into the epidermis to deliver the actives that they need to help rebuild and revitalize the skin. We often think that medical microneedling solely remodels and rebuilds our skin, right? But cosmetic needling does it too, just a lot more gentler. So it's a more gentle form of restructuring the skin. When you create these tiny controlled injuries at 0.25 to 0.3 millimeter in depth, you have 3 phases that your skin goes through. First is the inflammation phase. And this is when kind of platelets rush in and they dump human growth factor, TGF and PDGF. And they say, hey, it's time to repair. It's time to repair and rebuild. And then the skin goes into the second phase. And in the second phase, this is called a proliferation phase. And it's really when your fibroblasts themselves start making fresh type 3 collagen, elastin, and proteoglycans. It's almost like it gives all the new tools that your skin needs to build fresh new skin. Then it enters into phase 3. This is the remodeling phase. This is what we think of when we think of medical needling. That early collagen that was built in phase 2 is then replaced with a stronger type 1 collagen. So you still have some of the same mechanisms, the wound healing repair kind of mechanisms happening in cosmetic needling that are happening in medical microneedling, but it's a much milder version of what's happened. When you do it 1 to 2 times a week or 2 to 3 times a week, that becomes more meaningful, especially when you're integrating it with medical needling, which is causing massive gains in collagen. Because guys, remember, as we get older, we are losing collagen. And anything that we can do to bank extra collagen, anything that we can do to create extra collagen, it matters. Nobody ever even guesses that I'm close to 50. One of the things that happens with cosmetic needling that is not as pronounced with medical needling is the barrier function part of cosmetic needling. So if you are 35 or over, this is your ticket to a better skin barrier. What can we put on our skin when we're cosmetic needling to make our skin even better? First, hyaluronic acid. I'm going to put all of these serums in the description box, but you'll want to have a HA of some kind. And you don't have to use a super clean like Costa Baja HA. You can use the Timeless HA. I love it. It's a beautiful HA. It has different molecular weights. Remember, you're not penetrating deep into the dermis. You know, they need to be not full of a lot of preservatives and additives. So you can use growth factors or exosomes, right? Growth factors are designed to help your skin repair more easily. Exosomes contain growth factors, but they also contain other things that you need to help repair the skin. Both are great choices. I use the Ordinary's growth factor when I cosmetically needle, but you're welcome to use an exosome serum or something like that if you have one that you like. And in the studies with cosmetic needling, they have used things like exosomes with that, and it's been shown to really boost collagen and to also boost repair. You can use copper peptides. You can use the Ordinary's copper peptides or another copper peptide. I do recommend copper peptides that are GHK-Cu copper peptides. They will stimulate collagen and stimulate also other repair channels. You could also use like a peptide complex. I have so many peptides that I love. I'm going to put all of those in the description box, different things that you can use while cosmetic needling. You can use a niacinamide too. This will help calm some inflammation, calm redness, and it also helps that niacinamide get deeper into your skin. There are some people who even use things like vitamin C when cosmetic needling because it again allows the vitamin C to penetrate deeper into the skin. So my recommendation would be a vitamin C that has ferulic acid, vitamin E, and L-ascorbic acid in it, or a sap will do as well. Just know that that's going to be a little bit more irritating than, because that's an actual active. I don't personally cosmetic needle vitamin C, but I have a higher sensitivity to vitamin C. If you're cosmetically needling one night, the next night, don't use any retinols, no tretinoin, no vitamin A, Stay away from acids like salicylic acid, lactic acid, glycolic acid. Like, don't do a peel the next day at all. Stay away from like strong L-ascorbic acid, vitamin C the next day. You're just going to be a little more sensitive than normal. Nothing that will make your skin tingle in any way. Don't use anything like that. You're going to be a little more sensitive than normal, and you want to focus on barrier repair. The quicker you can repair your barrier and get it functioning back to normal, the better that your skin will do. How often can you do it? You can do it anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week. I would do it once a week if you're new to it. If you have super sensitive skin, I'd only do it once a week. I do it twice a week. I don't do it any more than that because I have a lot of other things that I do, and I really just do this. It's a Tuesday night, Friday night thing. That's it. Couple of things to note: do not needle over active acne. No infections, rashes. Here's what I hope you took away from it, right? Medical needling is so great. It's your days to remodel, but cosmetic needling can actually do a lot for your skin. I'm going to link in the description box. I'm going to link all the tools I use, all the serums that you can use. I'm going to link my scheduling video below so you can figure out how to schedule it into your regular monthly treatments. Tell me in the comments, are you already cosmetic needling? Are you going to start cosmetic needling now that you've seen this video? Y'all know how much I love this, and I'll see you next time on Glow Up with Shelly.